Hey guys, my name is Seniac and welcome back to another episode of Transport Fever 2, the Netherlands edition, where we're now looking at one of the brand new trains that we upgraded on many of the lines. I upgraded literally every single vehicle that I own in my transportation company, and it cost me nearly $1 billion. What is going on right now? I have no idea, but by doing so, you can see right now my finances. I spent 734 million, and then when you add on this here, I actually spent over $1 billion. That is absolutely wild right now. All of a sudden, my income, which the blue bars have now skyrocketed, you could argue are more than double what they were before, because now we have the capacity on our lines to carry more people and, of course, more cargo. What is this here? Why is the terrain literally on my train station? I don't know what's going on here, boys. Can I smoothen this? Oh, there we go. Somehow it fixed itself. There we go. Now, today, we're going to do a lot more work around Rotterdam. I implemented some bridges last episode, but since then, I've kind of redone them, rejigged them, and made them a little bit more friendly, which I think work out really well. I did some crossings on the road here to get to this side here. I did have to delete the buildings. They will grow back. Don't worry. But what it means is Rotterdam can now start growing, which means that we can start distributing the goods from the big harbour section here, because we're actually now delivering steel. And if steel's being delivered and plastic's being delivered, that means we can start producing goods and, more importantly, start distributing the goods. So guys, like I've mentioned before, if you are enjoying this series, please make sure you smash that like button down below. Subscribe if you are new around here so you get notified when more episodes do come out. But now we can start distributing. So we're going to keep it simple to begin with. Obviously, Rotterdam will get goods via vehicle. Makes sense. And Den Haag over here right now also requires goods, and it's within driving distance. It would not make any sense to deliver it by train, so we'll also vehicle the goods over here as well. Now, we did build the roads last episode, nice little junctions connecting to the little fly route there. Pretty sweet, pretty sweet. And actually, there is another city over here and one over there that also can have the goods. Now, I won't give these cities, or that one, oh my god, there's 3 in a row here. I won't give these guys here any of the goods until we start connecting it with public transport, because I don't want it to grow. Then I have to delete a lot of stuff to implement public transport, when I can just implement public transport how I like it and then allow the city to grow around it. Yeah, it's how I play the game. It's how I roll with it. So we need to implement here then a vehicle station, a truck depot, whatever you want to call it. So I'm thinking we need to figure out a place in which we can access all 4 of these factories. So if I pull up now the truck station, and I was kind of playing around with this earlier. I tried to go like over here, over there, over here. It doesn't really touch everywhere, but here does. I can access all 4 factories here, and I had the idea of maybe just dropping it here, making it super long, but playing around with it. Is it this way? No, I think it's this side. If I connect it up to that road there, on one side, I can lead it all the way back, but it does mean I'm going to have to reclaim a little bit more land here. I'm doing what the Dutch do best, and that's reclaiming land. Oh, no, that didn't go to plan, did it? Right, if I just go to there, we'll eventually smooth it all out, but I should be able to drop a truck stop just here on the junction. Now, I've done it on the junction because obviously it's, you know, less junctions, less stopping. I don't think I can implement a set. Oh, I can. Right, I wonder how far this can run before it starts eating into the train station. Oh, this is good stuff. Okay, that's as far as I can go. I'm going to make it as long as possible so we can store vast amount of goods on the platforms. And I think this should be pretty handy. Let me turn the tram tracks off at the same time. We don't really need tram tracks at the moment. We're not really utilizing trams. And this is obviously for cargo. Look at that. Now, that technically does also touch the train station with the edge of that. Pretty handy, isn't it, boys? Pretty handy right there. I'm just going to quickly fine-tune a little bit more of the edge. And I think that's as far as I'm going to take it. Granted, we do need to do a lot of smoothing. And that's stuff which obviously we'll have to kind of play around with. There we go. Right, so would it make sense to implement another access point elsewhere? I don't know. For now, I'm going to say no. What is going on with the terrain in this game right now? It seems to be doing some crazy stuff, doesn't it, the terrain? It really does seem to be doing some crazy stuff lately. I don't know what it is or what's going on, but the terrain is really having some fun times right now. Right, okay, so we've got the vehicle section in just here, and this is where all the goods can drop down. More importantly, it touches all of the factories. So we can now distribute all the goods from all of them. Now, we'll start with Rotterdam over here, and we need to drop in a truck unload stop. So we're just going to keep it really simple and make this as central and as local as we can. So I'm going to drop it about... We'll drop it here. Okay, we'll drop it there. And then we'll do one in Den Haag as well, which will drop this one. I'm going to say we throw it in about there. Because it should grow more this way. So that's kind of where we're centralizing the stop a little bit more. And then if I create 2 new vehicle stops then. So one here. 2 there. And obviously I can make it use both of them, but I don't think I'm going to. It's going to deliver goods, so I'll make that the good color. That's more orange, isn't it? Okay, we'll say that's the goods color. Now, I'm actually not going to make it utilize multiple stops. We'll make it use the one so we can kind of see where it's going. And we'll bring that to over there. So let me quickly rename both of these then. So our first one here is our Rotterdam goods. Hold on. Oh my goodness me, I'm pressing all the buttons right now, all the buttons. Rotterdam goods, and the other one is Den Haag goods. Easy enough for me to remember. Now we need a vehicle depot nearby. Right, what is going on with the terrain right now? Seriously. Are we having like a bug today or something? Because it do be bugging very weirdly. All this terrain right now, isn't it? I'm not quite sure what's going on, but in this area, it's really bugging. Right, we need a vehicle depot. Road depot, I should say. And do I just drop it there? I'm going to drop it there on the opposite side. Keep it simple. And we're going to buy some vehicles. So there'll be not many vehicles to begin with. We, of course, want to carry large amounts of cargo. So they carry 9. These also carry 9 as well. So these are like a new variant of vehicle that we can now utilize. Different from what we got in the last episode. So that's also fairly interesting. So which one do we go with then? We need to carry goods. So the goods can't be carried with the side stake ones. Nor can they be carried... Oh, these are pretty much the same. It's Ford Model 77s, believe it or not. We'll have to go with these. But then that carries 8. So I might as well go back to these that carry 9 and then call it a day, right? Yeah. Okay, so going to Rotterdam, I'll implement 3 to begin with and go on the Rotterdam goods line. And then I'm going to buy, because of the distance it's got to travel to Den Haag, I'll buy 6. So Den Haag goods. And that way then it should be delivering regularly. I don't know how true that's ultimately going to be. But hopefully it kind of works out for us. Hopefully it kind of works out. Right, so Rotterdam should now slowly start to grow. And we should eventually start seeing, depending on when the next delivery of steel is, we have no steel in these factories at the moment. So when's the next steel delivery? Is that land doing it again? What is going on? Has anybody else had this issue before? Like the visual glitch with the terrain? I've never seen that before, and it's only happening here. Weird, right? Weird. Right, that's bringing a lot of steel over right now. So how much steel is currently sitting here? It's actually quite a bit. Do we have the next train on the way? We do. I reckon we edit these vehicles, these trains, to carry more goods. So it's the flat car side stake stuff. Is it these ones we're working with? 12. Yes. So add this up to a capacity. Oh, wrong ones. Oh, no. Damn it. Right. Add it to a capacity of 300. I might as well go all in right now because I mentioned this last episode. We added like more capacity on all the lines, but I need to have a little bit of time for it to settle down to see if I've got enough or I still need to edit it a little bit further. But we are now actually producing goods. So that, we just now leave it to do what it's got to do. Very good, boys, very good. So Den Haag and Rotterdam are now getting their goods delivered. After building this huge system, we are now delivering the goods. This is sweet, mate. Absolutely sweet right now. So what's going on this harbour then? Because we still do have a lot of goods on the platform. I'm hoping with me upgrading all the vehicles, we are slowly eating into the backlog. And it looks like it is happening because it was all blue before and we had too much going on. We were losing goods, but now we seem to be keeping on top of it. It could be the fact that, you know, we are waiting for deliveries maybe. But we shall see. We shall see on this one. It all seems to be going pretty okay at the moment. Passenger side of things, the Haarlem to Harderwijk right now. We've got 2 trains on this. When is the next train coming to pick people up? Is this the train? That's the Amsterdam Loop. Haarlem to Harderwijk. That train. There is a train on the way. Where's the second train then? Is it one of these going back? Yes. Okay, so we are missing one that's already gone back. So maybe... Then again, the train's on the way, though. There's a train on the way. So let's just leave it now. Let's just leave it and look towards our next set of expansions. So, what else can we deliver elsewhere? And we got to see where we are delivering stuff to begin with anyway. So, I know Warden over here is getting food, and that food is coming from this factory over here. We're going to configure this and make it a little bit longer now. So if I add a little bit more capacity or a little bit more length onto the actual building itself, I can add some bigger buildings either side to be able to hold more goods. So it gives a little bit more capacity on that kind of side of it. Now, the majority of the current food waiting to go somewhere is for Warden down here. How many vehicles do we have on that line? We've only got 2. So we're going to duplicate them and get another 2 on there. I'm not sure if that's going to do us any justice in the long run. Leiden seems to be okay, and so does Amsterdam. Is this road looking busy? Is it time we maybe look towards creating some additional roads, or maybe just think about upgrading this road in general? So upgrading this road in general will make it a little bit faster. But also I feel like this road coming out here could eventually continue to bend into there to give us an alternative route to keep the roads open and free. So it's a medium street. We could eventually change it to a country road, which is probably the better option to go with, considering. So this here, if I allow this to run straight, and I allowed this here to run straight, and then we choose to bend that in, that just gives me another alternative route and option to make our way down here. Now, it would be considered the quicker route. That would be considered the quicker route. So they might choose this route over anything else. But then we have the Amsterdam line coming in there. We're going to have to upgrade this road. So we'll upgrade that to the country-esque style road. But I feel like we should allow them to merge onto here. So what if I quickly paused, and if I chose to have this run in a straight line? Oh, that would be so good if it could literally just run along the side. All right, if I delete there. Right, there's a way to do this. Hold on. I would like it to run down like that. So where does this? So bring you to there, delete you. There's somewhere here where this connects. So that road to Amsterdam, while it does connect to this, it slightly bypasses so I can get a connection onto here. Now, do I do it as a 90 degree? It will slow a lot of the traffic down. Or do I keep it as a... Would you class it as a 45 maybe? Maybe. That could also lead down to Rotterdam as well, but I'll leave it like that. I'll leave it like that. So it gives them alternate options in terms of travel, and hopefully will reduce the vehicle traffic on this road for our cargo to enter in and out with relative ease. It's not an issue anyway, but it should kind of help us out a bit more because they can drive faster on that road. Right, that should help those guys out a little bit there. We've got our road connections here, which is all good. The more we connect up the cities, the more the cities then grow. So I'm thinking we're going to need said connection along here right now. So if I was, for example, to actually delete that road and then come off it in a straight line and then see if we can then choose to stick a nice little bend in there. And then those two towns are now connected, but they want to go from there to there as well. So it does make sense for me to also implement an alternative connection. So do we use the same road or do we come off it and kick it all in? So I'm thinking if I ran there and if I then ran this just to there for just a hot min, if I come off it again, delete said road, delete you to there, and then choose to bend you in. And then that's the road that leads all the way down. But I think, now looking at it, we could maybe get away. Right, put that like that. Put that there. Delete you, delete you. Run you down. You're the connection in there. Because we do need, and I completely forgot about this side, to implement passenger buildings on this side of the train station. So if I just did like that, and then if I... This is all really, really important work, guys. It might not seem like it, but it's what allows the cities to continue to grow. And then ran that just, say, just to there. When this road then kind of takes over. And then it has the ability now to grow on this side of the train station. But all the roads are intertwined and connected, so you can lead yourself to any direction. Now, the last thing I'm going to do is now connect up Venendaal to it all. And then in reality, you can almost drive anywhere to get anywhere. Actually, Amsterdam to Hilversum. We'll do this one first. We'll do this one. So it does become a little bit tricky because a lot of the roads are not where you would typically want them to align. So if I come off here and let's say because in reality, coming through like directly like this is all good and all that, but there's no direct road that kind of makes sense to link it all up without doing deletings. You know what I mean? Unless I utilize this road instead. And this was the road that kind of bends in. But it's always nice to have an alternative option. I mean, for now, that's completely fine. It can kind of go like that, so we'll just keep it like that. And then we'll do one down here as well. So let's go normal road first. So normal road sticking down. And then we'll bend it into that. So we're going to try and get this as close as we can. before then I choose to do... And I'll do it there now, that's fine. Linking in like that. So just keep it simple. So a lot of the cities, right, the towns right now are all connected to themselves via road. Ooh. Actually, this is the last one, because if you were here and wanted to go there, you've got to drive a long way round. Yes, that makes complete and utter sense. So I'll make it go so far. Actually, scrap that. We'll do you there. I like the parallel tool these days. The parallel tool is probably one of the best things they added into the game in a long time. Right, bend that like that. Delete all of this. I will upgrade that to a different style of road in a minute as well, but this is going to bend down just to here. And we'll bring this just to there. Where does a bend... What does a bend look like here? That works. That really does work. I can have road connections cutting across. I'll add them to do their own road connections. I might just keep the road like that. Or shall I upgrade it to have a little bit of this in? Okay, it's not the full distance, but the speed limit does change there, which they will be very, very thankful for with all of this. Right, I've got to implement another connection for Zandvoort right now. So let me go back on the bends. So I'll connect that in like there. So you got your solid connection there. This, of course, will lead down. And I reckon if I run across there and run across here to there, delete you. I think this road here should bend up and in, which will inevitably meet its maker over here. It's a little bit spaced out, but that's fine. And now we have these multiple runs. Right, that works. Okay, as far as road network now goes, that's as far as we're pushing it. So, what is the deliveries now looking like over here? It looks like we do need to implement a few more vehicles. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll get another 4 on that one. And the Rotterdam one, we'll duplicate that and have another 3. Right, they'll now come out and start delivering. Has Rotterdam had any deliveries? Yes, it has started to have some deliveries, which is probably why it's starting to grow quite rapidly right now. It's starting to really bulk up. And that's pretty good to see. Road connections are looking pretty good as well. So we should see right now a big increase in the ability for these towns and cities to now grow, because they'll have more private destination connections. Now, one of our really, really small train lines, I mean, we've got a couple of small train lines, but I think our smallest passenger line right now is the one from Den Haag to Zandvoort. I'm going to look to now extending it into, how do I pronounce this, guys? Is it Ulmuden? Into there, we'll go into Beverwijk, and then to, is it Alkmaar? And then so on and so on. So, just seeing where these are all going to kind of connect in reality. Will we have both lines come into Alkmaar? And then one continues, one doesn't? And then we have some go in some different directions? I don't know. I actually don't know how we're going to kind of play around with that. But if I was to implement a train station here, this is going to be an interesting one. So let's say, for example, let's kind of work it slightly a bit backwards, okay? Now let's say I kill off you. And let's say I utilize this road here as being... make it go straight-ish, because that's where I can implement a train station on. So that will be the line it runs through, which means we are going to have to tear through the center of this town, which it's never a good thing to do, and I don't really like normally doing it that way. But I know I will be able to grow this town back 10 times better if it had a train station situated quite central. But the other side of it is I could have the train station go here across and in. So I could also get it to work on this side. So let's pause. Let's delete you, delete you, delete you. Maybe we could implement something with this road network here. So, for example, if this road... Actually, let me delete this. Let me delete that connection. I don't like what it's trying to attempt here. But I also don't like the idea of deleting too much more. So let me delete there, delete there. I know this is a lot of pain right now. Please just bear with me. Bear with me, guys. Bear with me right now. And bend that in. Okay. That's going to obviously... I'm trying to see where it makes the most sense. Right there, and then bend. Off it goes. So that's how Harlem is going to connect to this town here. And then that is going to continue. If I chose that to bend in, I mean, that could just kind of continue, but I like the idea of kind of slightly turning it in. If that was to wiggle through there. And... right, now we have a little bit of a better road layout. It's up to them what they choose to do after this. But it's a bit better, and it would help me, it would really help me actually, then situate a train line in. So this wouldn't be the biggest of train stations. And something like here would be probably the better way to go about it. So now I've got my road layouts. I can kind of then play around with how they would ultimately work. So in theory, I could delete this connection there and then build around it. So if I was to implement a 120 train station, now the land does change by the looks of it. So if I was to implement you here or you there, I reckon this gets situated. Okay, let me just go here with this. So let me do 4. Okay, let me just play around with this idea first. So obviously the land is all over the place. We will have to play with the roads, but at least we know where they could potentially run if I work with it. So let me smoothen off the area then to somehow get the landscaping roughly the same height. It won't be perfect, but you get how it is. Tracks will be coming off straight there, which almost run where I need them to go. So get back in a little bit. You run to there. And then do I implement the road now back in? For the sake of then seeing how we can connect. We can integrate the road connection with the train line. So just like that, we haven't lost any road connectability. Right? Doesn't look the best, but I can, again, fine-tune it. So there is a bump there, which we're going to delete this, delete you, and then extend the road longer so it integrates the bump with it. So I can then smoothen all the land off, and it just kind of feels like it's a natural incline with the landscape. Right, so I've got my connections there, the crisscross then in. So it's just a short bend leading in. Now that does drop down. Can I delete this back a bit? It doesn't seem like I've deleted much train track, but it's enough to where it doesn't eat into the ground as much. That's got the crisscross, and that connected there. Smoothing the land. And now all of a sudden we're connected to the next town. It's not the best of connections, but what it also allows me to do, it allows me to have, theoretically, a second train station on the outskirts of Harlem. That's what it also allows me to do. So if I bulked up this train station just a tad bit more, so let's say I go for the big bulky kind of buildings there, and then we go for like some of the smaller variant ones. So I'll make it like a nice station. You know, it looks pretty interesting. And let me now delete this road. And let's see, well, first and foremost, let me just see where we're going to obviously build the bridge going across and where we're going to be connecting up the next station. So with the way that's going to be, I can make it go over this, utilize that little bit of land as the support for the bridge coming in. So we'll be having said train station. Now, do I do this at a 160? I feel like it's like really big then. So bend it in. And I'm deleting that road. So ultimately I could maybe come off here and build said station there. We'll build it here. Right, let me build it there and let me see. I'm going to use, because I'm going to use the outer there and the inner. So if I allowed that to go to here for just a minute, and we then need to attempt some form of a bend, but rather than doing that, actually I could do it here, couldn't I? I kind of need it to go semi-straight, so what if I just slightly raised you? Just to get it in position, because I would rather the bridge be straight than a bended bridge. Bendy bridge. Angled bridge. I don't know what the correct term would be. So if I bring that to there. Now, this is important because we do have ships coming down here. So that's as high as I'm able to raise it. Would that be an issue? That is obviously a better bridge for us, a more modern bridge. So we could roll with that, lead you up and over. We are utilizing this side here, so we are consistently bending anyway, but we're okay with the shipping routes. That works out fairly well. And it kind of just bends in, a little wiggle. And it brings us to a little station on the outskirts of the town, rather than running the station through the center of the town. We'll just do it on the outskirts. So quickly, just throw in the main buildings. And is it these ones got either side? Yes, I'm going to do a little bit longer with them. Just for a bit of decor. I'll probably end up... No, I'm not going to... yeah, I'll delete that road. I'll delete that road. And we will quickly throw in a... So if I come down to here, if I just naturally go down there and then pick a route there. Nope, too far. Alright, there we go. And then have the town. Alright, I don't need this. We'll kind of just let it kind of like run itself away. But if I bring directly off there, and we'll come straight a little bit to then bend into here, to then run straight there. It's how then the town is going to then build itself around. So it's not perfectly centered, and I don't want it to be perfectly centered. I want the town to slowly grow this way to the station, but we're giving it the ability to do so. So make this kind of all go in as early as possible. Can we do the crisscross here before the crossing? I'm hoping we can, and there's no issues. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Straight over. Same thing here, but the difference is on this one, we're bending with it. So the bend's going to be more than usual. And where's the road? The road's there. So I wonder if I can do this as short as possible. Yes. Which I'm hoping allows me now to push this through, this road. So the extensions continue. I'm going to run down like this. Come out there. Bring you a bit further up. Bend you in. that can run in a straight line. And then we have all these connections then coming in, because like this is trying to bend, as you can tell. So to make the connection work a bit more, that runs into there. And then I could go for another connection here and bend you in like that. It's how all the roads from Harlem run to this train station, just to kind of pick up a few more passengers. So benefits, this station actually benefits two towns in many ways. So we'll extend it by 2 right now. I don't want to take it any further because there's a lot we're going to have to transform around these areas to make it make more sense. Now, last thing I'm going to do, I'm doing a lot of road work today. I wasn't expecting to be doing all this, but I'm going to run this down. Okay, we've gone a little bit too far, but we're going to allow it to connect here. So I'm going to delete you, I'm going to delete you, and then let them kind of choose themselves how they want to redecide it all. We're going to bring this to here and then swoop it in. And then we're going to smoothen all this land out there. Right, some big changes there. Very interesting to see how it's all now going to evolve. But hopefully these are changes for the good. So back into play mode then, to allow the game to kind of catch up with itself. We're now going to extend this line. So no longer is it going to go from Den Haag to Zandvoort. It's going to go all the way to Beverwijk. Is that how I pronounce it? Beverwijk? 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 I think it may be one of those. I could be completely wrong. Right, Zandvoort, back to Leiden. So Den Haag, then back to Leiden. And then technically, it would go... This will mess up the station now. So back to Zandvoort. Then here, here, and then here. Right, I've got to do signals, of course. But Zandvoort right now, take all this off. So here, it's going to Leiden. So it needs to be on the right-hand side, which it is. So we can utilize them both platforms. The second time in Zandvoort, it's number 3, and it uses 3 and 4. Do I need to do the double slip there? Yes. And I probably need to do that in a bunch of places. Me just realizing this for the first time. I feel like I haven't set up the double slips in a bunch of places on my other stations. Right, so first time it gets here is coming from Zandvoort, so it needs to be on number 3 and 4, right? And then the next time, 1 and 2. Correct. But in Beverwijk, it can utilize all 4 stops. Because we cool like that. We cool like that, boy. Yeah, I'm forgetting the double slips on these little sections. So let me just quickly throw in the signals. I'll go back into play mode now because we're now all good. So drop you there. I'm going to do another quick one here and here. And then drop you there. You're all fine. There. I'll do a quickie sneaky one just there and there. And one just there. So yeah, a lot of these lines then, I need to implement the double slip. I've kind of forgotten about a lot of this, haven't I? They're okay. It's the one where it ends like that. So here, for example, I'm missing the double slip here. To allow them to run in with relative ease. Anywhere else it does that, because I know I've changed a lot of stations. This one here probably doesn't do it. So I can integrate a double slip there. And I won't say it changes it. But it's what I'm forgetting to add in if I bring other trains and stuff in that way. I think these are all okay anyway. I don't feel like there's any issues or there's going to be any issues. It does change the ones that completely run through it all. You're okay on that side. this here. Yeah, it all depends. Because then they don't need to use the crisscross, do they? Some still do. Depends on which way you're coming in or out. You know what I mean? It depends on which way you're kind of coming in or out. So that comes in there, out that way, that in there. And it also depends on which direction you're going on at the same time. Right. Bam. The end ones still still utilize it anyway because it's an end station. But it's when we continue to go through it, I just want to make sure that I've got them all set up. So it's just there. Bam. And I'm trying to think right now, is there anywhere else? I think this station just here, but this is, again, end platform, it doesn't really matter, or end route. I'm just making sure we're all covered. Here we'll see an advantage. Changes the line that side. Changes the line that side as well. It does make a huge difference. It really does. Right, I think I've got them all now covered. Right, so that should be a big improvement for us then with this line. It extends the line a bit further. Still got the same amount of trains on there, which is 1, right? Yeah. It's never really made any money, but now that it can go a bit further, more destinations, we might see a big improvement. And hopefully a few more pennies being made. This connects to a little bit of Harlem, but as Harlem continues to grow, you know, it's able to utilize this station, which is really, really handy for us. Yeah, I'm kind of happy with that. I really, really am. Right, how is this line doing? These loops right now might need to... I know we've recently just replaced the vehicles. I'm about to say, is there a better variant of them? I'm going to add on... You know what, I'm going to duplicate all 4. So there's 8 on that one loop, and there's 8 on the other loop as well. So that should theoretically kind of cover us. There's 16 on going through the whole of Amsterdam now. Which you might be wondering, okay, this is looking quite far. We're on the brink of the radius right now. So at some point we are going to have to start rethinking Amsterdam's bus routes. We really are. We really are. Right, Rotterdam, how you doing? Growing. Got the up arrow right there with all the goods that are being delivered. Do we need more vehicles? Yes. I think at this stage right now we need a lot of vehicles. We do need a lot. There is some vehicles on the way back, but I'm not sure who they're for. So if I just do another 5 for the Den Haag one. And then for the Rotterdam, I just 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. There we go. That'll pull a few more vehicles out then at that point. Right, that's all good. We do need a bus route for Rotterdam to bring more people in. Does it make sense to do it now? I would argue, yeah, it kind of does make sense to do it now. Right, where would be best? I don't like how they've chose to kind of build that road there. I'm going to try and force them to do it a bit different. And pull that road down there. And then maybe have this kind of bend up and out for them to continue. Right, let's start preempting. I like the fact that it's not gridded. You know, it adds a little bit more to it. But you got to be a bit careful. Right, bus and tram stops right now. We don't really need the tram section of it, but we'll do bus. So I'm going to start with a double stop here and here. We're going to create a loop around it, and I'm going to do the stops either side of the train station to maximize the coverage. So I think my next one will be here and here, and providing that they are able to reach the majority of the area, which they do. They reach everywhere in Rotterdam is now covered by a bus stop. We're all good. So new line. And I'm going to make sure that we are going in the correct direction. Right, it chose to go on the opposite side. So at what point will it decide? Okay, now it's decided. It's now decided which side of the road it's currently on. I just need to make sure that they don't flip her back on themselves. And I don't believe it does. Let me go this way now. And each stop is okay. Right, I think we're okay. So this is our Rotterdam Loop 1. Oh, hello. Rotterdam Loop 2. And this will bring a lot more people and make Rotterdam, theoretically, more connected than it once was because of these bus routes. So grab the buses from over here then. We've learned from Amsterdam that we probably most likely will need quite a bit. We'll go with these ones. They're not as quick, but they do carry one more passenger. We're not really going to be reaching high speeds anyway. So I'll do 8 on the one loop. And of course then another 8 on the other loop. And that should future-proof me for quite some time. So Rotterdam's had like a really, really big injection right now of connectivity. And if I just get these couple of towns nearby connected, that will make Rotterdam even more connected. So right now it's, I mean, the private train station is 70%. This is the one that will change with connecting up the road. So if we just delete this section here, bring this road down and connect in, and then we're just going to find a way to allow that road to kind of continuously move around as well. And if I just drag this up, right, there's a reason for this. Because I don't want to overload that junction for if anyone's going from here to here. So we bring this one a bit further down. And that way, if you're going from this town to this town, you can use that road rather than overloading that road, if it makes sense. Because there's going to be road traffic coming from Rotterdam. So that adds a few more towns in, which that should then make the private transportation numbers slowly increase. I don't think it will, you know, add an extra 10%, but it all benefits and it all helps. It all helps. It all helps. Right. Allow them to kind of do what they've got to do. We can have a little bit of a fast forward. Not too much, though. Don't want to skip ahead too quick. Just give time for everything now to settle down and kind of get in place, especially that all the buses, especially all of them. A bunch of the cargo vehicles now picking up all their goods. We're making dents. We are officially making sweet, sweet dents. So you can see the vehicle traffic now heading up. So they're the ones coming to this junction will be going directly to Rotterdam. And then this road here should be utilized by going from town to town between these two. They don't connect up anywhere else, so that's as far as it pretty much goes. So in theory, we could think about creating a small little bus commuter route going back and forth. That would be good, wouldn't it? Yeah, why don't we do that? Now, there's two ways I can look at this. I could do one bus route that kind of starts here and goes back and forth, and another one going back and forth there, but then you need one going back and forth here. But if I created a loop that came down and kind of just went down here, utilized that area, or kind of maybe sucked in and came in, and then have another loop go the opposite way, I can create two routes that also get treated as the back and forth between the two towns. But I don't think I want to add it to my existing bus route. But I could also utilize one of the stops, but that might then overload one of the stops. Or I could choose to add a station in and have them theoretically use that. Or I could integrate both of these stops and utilize this as a loop. That could also work. Let me play around with this idea then. So let's just say we're going to have 2 loops. So I'll do one there, one there. No, I'll do one there for this town. Now for this town, I'll do one there, and I'll do one there, one there. We might have to set some waypoints up or something like that, but we'll see how they go first. So if I create a new line, and I went here, 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 there, and there. And if I set this up to be bright pink, and we're going to have this, I'm going to set up a waypoint just so I can visualize it a lot better. So we want waypoints. So if I sorted out a waypoint here and here, right? So from the last stop, we add a station there. So it comes down, it goes round, down, down, back out. Back out, where it would then turn to go down here, goes round, down. I would much prefer it to go around this way. Just for my own frame of mind. So from nude, it would then go to there and then continue up and over, where it would then go down, down. Then I do another one, which ultimately goes the opposite way. And then that would lead down to here, to where, rather than turning, it goes this way, there, there, and then on the way back. Now, you could argue, very strong argument you could make on this, that this is the wrong thing to do. But that would come in, stop there and there. But the thing is, they go in opposite directions. Let's make sure it's all okay. They go in opposite directions, so if you're wanting to go from here to there, you haven't got to sit around the whole loop. You just get on the bus route that drops you there. Now, here's a bit funky, because obviously I'm making them go around this extra bit here. It's just to keep the momentum of the loop going. You could argue I could maybe drop an extra stop here and here as a way to kind of unload, because for one route, it will be the first stop they drop off at. The other route, it wouldn't. But it will only be utilized by that route. So if I was to put this here and here, and then the route itself, so the Rotterdam waypoint there, and then we get rid of the Rotterdam waypoint instead. And then the other one, the Rotterdam waypoint, so add the stop there, but then get rid of you. So it's still treated as the waypoint, but I'm adding that extra stop out of nowhere, which loads and unloads. For one route, it's the first stop after coming over the bridge. For the other route, it's the first stop leaving the bridge, which would hopefully take a little bit of the heat away from these two stops at the same time. It can work, it can not work. It's just one of those things. It's just one of those things. So this is interesting then. So I've kind of killed 2 birds with 1 stone in many ways by having it enabled it to link up. I feel like it would be quite a busy route, so I'm going to put 6 buses on each of them loops. I'm not too sure what to call them as well. I'm not too sure what to call these. I don't expect them to be that busy, but never say never. Never say never. What do we call them? I'm going to call it the... Can I copy from the last one? The Rotterdam... out... The Rotterdam outer loop. Yeah. I mean, we would know what that means, right? We know what that means. And number 2. Of course. Of course. Right. They're now going to do what they need to do. But it brings up now 2 more towns to this train station. So everything is geared up to bring people to this train station. That's the main gist of it, okay? There's a lot of vehicles now going to be driving around. We actually did increase it by 10%. We've added nearly 100 residents alone on Rotterdam. That just goes to show how much it's really affected Rotterdam right now. Like, positively, I should say. Positively. So that's worked out really well. And now we just give this time to kind of settle down. So 2 bus stops around. These 2 towns should then theoretically grow. Which, if I'm not doing too much with, we can actually start giving them their goods. You know, that also works out as well. But I'll save that for another time. There's no stress on that. I've just heard the sound. I think a factory's just leveled up. Yeah, this one's just leveled up. It's the first one. This one's about to level up. Any minute now. There you go. That's just leveled up. That one's on the way. That one has not yet decided it wants to do it. Okay. Okay. Glorious. Right. Absolutely glorious. We haven't actually built the opposite side of this station yet. Which, because we've left it so long, we've lost the older style building to work with. Now, this is going to be an interesting road I'm now going to have to connect. So if I run that there and then get rid of that road instead, could I run this a bit further down for you? There we go. And that just extends the connection of the station and allows them to build on this side if needs be. So I also feel like we are going to need to get a bus route for Den Haag. It's quite a big city, big town. But we are underutilizing the public transport. Which I expect them to be a lot more vehicles leaving the area because we, again, like I said, not utilizing the public transport as much. Right. Okay. Okay. So we'll have to keep our eyes on peeled on this if I've got enough buses. We probably haven't got enough buses, if I'm being honest with you. We most likely haven't. But Rotterdam is going to have a whale of a time. Wow, that's jumped up 50 since I last checked it like 2 minutes ago. Damn, Rotterdam. That's why they call it Rotterdam. It's Rotterdam, boy. You big. But yeah, looking pretty good. So this little town here then is also growing. It's going to bounce back from the destruction. What about over here? Are you benefiting from this? Yes, you are. Very nice. And obviously Haarlem. Haarlem's pretty big, but they're going to have a rival in Rotterdam, as Rotterdam is getting bigger quicker. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens right now, but obviously Amsterdam is always going to be the biggest. Right, sweet, mate. Absolutely sweet right now. We're doing this little fine-tuning, which is really, really helping us out. The fine-tuning really is helping us out right now. Will that road stretch down to there and across the bridge? What a connection if I can do that. Right, this will be the last thing I do today. But it's our only form of highway. You know, believe it or not, this is our only form of highway. Which I could then have... Whoa, what happened to that? I'm sure I just connected that road in. There we go. I can have this all now cross up to it. And so on and so on. It's our only form of highway we've currently got in. But the roads are going to lead everywhere. Don't get me wrong, the roads will lead everywhere. But how cool is that right now? Even more interconnectivity. It's the highway to Amsterdam, is what we should call it. Guys, I hope you did enjoy this episode. We got big plans coming in the next few episodes right now as we continue the expansions. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, please smash the like button down below. And until next time, I'll see you all soon. So, goodbye.